All right. As far as the magnitude goes, you're going to be fine with those. Just a squared plus b squared, and then take the square root. But let's talk about the direction angle for the second, third, and fourth quadrant. Remember, the direction angle is the tangent of theta is equal to b over a. So you have to find your inverse function. Now, if you're in your first quadrant, you're fine. First quadrant, you just go ahead and plug it in, find the inverse, and you're finished. But let's look at 2, 3, and 4. Now, in 2, 3, and 4, I am only doing the direction angle. I'm not doing the magnitude. The magnitude is up to you, okay? So let's look at number 2. On number 2, we have the component form of the vector -3 and -1. Okay, since this is a position vector, we know that the initial is at the origin. -3 and -1 is right here in the third quadrant. So this is a vector found in the third quadrant of the coordinate plane. And so the angle, you'll notice, is greater than 180 degrees. It's between 180 and 270, very, very close to 180. All right, now if we take and do tangent of a or b over a, we'll have -1 over -3, which is 1/3. But look at my calculator here when I do second tan of 1/3. Oops, let's delete that. Okay, I get 18.43 degrees. Okay, looking at this angle here, it is not 18.43 degrees. What it's doing is it's giving you this little angle right here, okay, between the negative x-axis and the vector itself. So when you have a vector that's found in that third quadrant, after you find the inverse amount, the inverse tangent of 1/3, you get 18.43 degrees. This is not your answer. You have got to take that 180 degrees and add it to that 18 and 43/100 degrees. This is your direction angle, 198 and 43/100 degrees. Now, doesn't that make sense that this is 198 degrees instead of just 18? So if you find that you're in the third quadrant here, whatever you get, add it to 180 degrees, and that is your direction angle, okay? That's number 2. Now, if you look at number 3, we have vector in component form 8 and -12. So, here is my initial side at the origin. I counted by 4s. So I have 4, 8, -4, -8, -12. So 8 and -12 is found right here. So I drew my vector from the initial to the terminal, okay? And then I drew my angle. You see that it's in the fourth quadrant, so we know that it's greater than 270 degrees. Now, when I do b over a, I have -12 over 8. So when we go over here and do second tan of -12 over 8, I did it again, y'all, okay? You see we get a negative value, okay? What's that negative value about? Okay, that -56 is going in a clockwise direction instead of counterclockwise. So what we have to do when we have a terminal point in the fourth quadrant is we have to take whatever we get, which will be a negative value, and add it to 360 degrees to change this negative angle into a positive angle. Okay, and that's the only way we're going to be able to do that is to add 360. Okay, so again, they're giving you this angle measure. We've got to find this angle measure. So to do that, take that negative angle measure and add it to 360, and we'll get 303 and 69/100. And that's our direction angle, okay? So that's for any terminal point that's in the fourth quadrant, all right? Now let's look at number 4. On number 4, we have component form -11 and 6. So here is my initial at the origin, counted by 6 and went to a -11 and, or counted by 2, sorry, and went to -11 and 6. So this one's in the second quadrant. So since I can't put a negative in the denominator, I just put it out to the side. So I'll do second tan of -6 over 11. Okay. Ooh, another negative angle, -28.6. Okay, that's going to give me this little value right here. So I don't want to add my negative angle to 360 because I'm not in the fourth quadrant. I need to take that angle and add it instead to 180 because I need this side. I don't need this side. Okay, this is the side I need. And so it's just giving me this little value right here when I do my inverse tan. So in order to find this angle, -28 61/100ths, just take that angle and add it to 180 degrees, and you'll get 151 39/100ths as your direction angle. Now, doesn't it make sense that this angle is 151 39/100ths degrees? Okay, so let's do a quick recap. If you are in quadrant 3 and you do your inverse tan, you're going to have to add that to 180 degrees to get past 180 degrees, to get between 180 and 270. If you are in the fourth quadrant, you're going to get a negative value, so add it to 360 to get your positive value in the counterclockwise direction. If you are in quadrant 2, okay, you're going to get a negative value right here, so add it to 180 to get your positive value. All right, and these rules will apply whatever you're doing, not just for these values, but for any values if you have a position vector and you're in the second, third, or fourth quadrant. If you're in the first quadrant, just plug it in and you got your answer. Okay, everything's gravy. But this is what you have to do for the third quadrant, the fourth quadrant, and the second quadrant.